Good evening, everyone. For this video lesson, we are going to discuss about how we navigate between screens in React Native. Starting with the installation and setup, so all you have to do is you install the following, just copy and paste. Make sure you install it on your project, okay, inside the directory of your project. So just copy and paste this one to your command prompt, click enter, and then hintayin na lang natin ma-install yung mga required dependencies. And then after that, next is the installation of Expo dependencies. So all you have to do is type or copy and paste the following on your command prompt and then download the required dependencies so that magiging smooth yung pag-run natin sa project with our React navigation implementation. So once you install all the dependencies, take note that you might get warnings related to peer dependencies after installation. They are usually caused by incorrect version ranges specified in some packages. So you can actually safely ignore this one, so just don't worry about the warnings. As long as your app still builds or mag-run siya, then you're good to go. So that's it for the installation. Just make sure that you install the following dependencies inside the directory of your project. Okay, so once you installed all the dependencies, all you have to do is go to your root file, which is our app.tsx. Okay, so this is my app.tsx. So to use the navigation container component, you write it sa root file natin. So you go to your app.tsx and then you type the navigation container as your parent component inside the return statement. Ayan. Then after you type that one, magkaka-error yan siya. Ayan, kasi walang laman sa navigation container. Dapat kasi may laman yan siya. So what I did, ang dapat kasi content in navigation container is the stacks of screen na i-display natin or i-render natin sa ating app. So when we say stack, it is a group of data, ayan, or functions. So I don't advise you na dito natin ilalagay automatically. I don't want you to do that. So I advise you to create a separate file for the stacks, which is here. I created the navigator.tsx, in which once again, if I open this one, ito yung content ng navigator.tsx. So we have the following: stack navigator, stack group, and stack screen. So later on, malalaman natin ano yung purpose niya. So going back to our app.tsx, so once you created the navigator file, so you type that one, so mawawala na yung error natin. So ibig sabihin, every time we run our app, it will render it will call the navigator file, which handles the stack of screens for our application to be rendered. Okay, now let me go to the navigator.tsx and we'll be discussing ano yung purpose ng mga other stack component, which we have navigator, group, and screen. So here we have in our PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Starting with the line 9, we have the constant stack, which is the variable name, equals create native stack and navigator. So, ang purpose nito, okay, so, so we use stack navigator, stack group, and stack screen in our navigator.tsx. Ayan, so like what I've said, you create a separate tsx file for stacks. And here I named my stack file as navigator.tsx. And inside the main function, you declare the following. Okay, before you declare this one before the return statement, which is here, we have line 9. And so cons stack. So the variable stack you can use any word you like as long as related siya sa purpose. And then equal sign, and then you create native stack navigator. And make sure it is imported in our import area. So ano yung purpose niya? So the primary purpose of create native stack navigator is to configure and manage navigations between screens in an app using the stack navigation pattern, where each new screen is placed on top of the previous one and users can go back to the previous screen or push a new one. So, yun yung idea ni create native stack navigator. So, as an illustration, let me um, give an illustrated example kung anong ibig sabihin na where each new screen is placed on the top of previous one. So for example, we have, for example, this is our screen 1. Screen 1. Ayan. And then, let's assume you have a button in our screen 1, and once you click the button, it will navigate you or mag-move ka sa next screen, which is this one. Let me change the color. Okay, let's say this is screen 2. Okay. And then let's assume my button ulit is screen 2. And once you click on that button, then navigate ka na naman niya sa another screen, which is, let's rename it as screen 3. Ayan. So, ang ginagawa ni Creative Stack Navigator is ganyan. It placed each screen on top of the previous one, and then users can go back to to the previous screen and push a new one. So what happens is that, okay, let me draw. Ang mangyayari is, let's assume you're currently in the screen 3 and you want to go back to screen 1. So you cannot go directly or go back directly. Dadaan ka muna sa screen 2, and then from screen 2, pupunta ka sa screen 1. So yan yung idea ni Create Native Stack Navigator. So I hope you got the explanation. Okay, so let's proceed. So that's the first thing you will do in your stack file. You begin with initiating the creative stack navigator. The next, inside our return statement sa stack file natin, is we have, you type first okay, let's go here sa PowerPoint presentation natin. You type first the stack.navigator. So yung purpose is stack navigator, um, so you type this one first. So the purpose of Stack Navigator is it is a component provided by the React Navigation Library's Stack Navigation System. So it allows you to create a stack-based navigation between different screens, where screens are pushed and popped up the stack as you navigate between them. And next naman, we have the screen options. For this one, yung value ng screen options, make sure na yung value niya is inside the double curly braces. So yung value niya we have here, header shown, and I set it to true. Basically, it's just the header of the application. Yun bang sa app, kapag nasa screen ka and you want to go back to the first screen, meron siyang arrow. And when you click the arrow, you can return the previous screen. So, yun yung purpose niya. Kapag yung value is true, meron siyang navigation sa taas with arrow. Kapag i-false, meron siya, of course, walang navigation. So, later on, makikita natin. I will show you an example. Okay, so this option ensures that the header is shown for all the screens inside the Stack Navigator, with the header displayed at the top of each screen and typically includes the title of the screen and navigation options like back buttons. Okay, so that's the second thing to do, yung declaration of Stack Navigator. And next thing to do after that is the declaration of stack group. For this one, this is actually optional. Pwede namang wala muna si stack group kasi this will be very useful kapag marami ka ng stacks of screens and you want to group them together separately or by category. So you can use this one. But as for me, gusto ko yung masanay ako na gumamit ng mga required component for the navigator. So much better. I advise nyo na gamitin nyo na lang din. So the stack group is used to group multiple screens together and apply shared configuration to them. So yun yung advantage niya. Once the screens are put inside the stack group, they can share different configurations. You don't have to set them up separately. Okay, this grouping allows for logical separation of screens while keeping the navigator clean. So I advise you gamitin nyo lang always ang that group na component. So that's the next thing to do. And then after you declare the stack.group, next we have the stack.screen component. So this is the most important component sa stack navigation because it defines a route in the stack navigator. So in our code, we have three stack.screens. So the three stack.screen actually represent the number of screens that we want to be displayed in our app. Ayan. So eventually we have the home screen, we have the task screen, and the settings. And to declare the stack.screen component, so ito yung kailangan natandaan natin. So of course, you declare it stack.screen. So make sure you define the name of the screen and the component. Ayan. So it's okay if hindi same ng terminology yung name and component, but much better na same siya para dili ta malito. Okay? So, for example, if ang inyong component is homepage, so why not, ang name na lang po sa ato ang stack.screen, why don't you just make it also homepage? Para dili ta malito when calling that component to be displayed on our screen. Okay? So, yun lang naman yung kailangan natin, stack.screen, tapos yung name and component. Yung component dito is yung screen that we're going to display in our app. So, ang homepage is actually a separate file for the homepage design. So, we imported that one. Ayan. And then, same as a task, imported din yan siya. This is a separate file. And also the settings. And if you want to configure each of the pages, such as homepage, tasks, and settings, so you just create your own file or open if nag-exist na siya. Ayan, so basically, this indicates na meron na tayong tatlong screen, which is declared here in our stack.screen with the purpose of we can now navigate to home, tasks, and settings, of course, with the right configuration sa code natin. So once you create the stack file, nakagawa na kayo ng stack navigator, stack group, and you identify kung ano yung mga screens na ilalagay sa stack, then you are good to go. You can actually now navigate to different screens. But of course, to do that, kailangan may mga buttons tayo na kapag i-click natin yung button na yun, we will be navigated to a different screen. So for example here, sa program natin, okay, so this is our, okay, let me zoom it for you. This is our app.tsx. Okay, and then we have our stack file which it contains the navigator, group, and screen. Okay. So now, what we're going to do is, gusto ko, ang first ma-render sa app, if I run it through Expo Go, I want the home to be the first screen to pop out, which is because siya yung nasa una na screen in our stack, so automatically siya yung una magre-render. Therefore, in my home page, gusto ko meron tayong button in which kapag i-click ko siya, I will be navigated to the next screen, which is yung task. And then gusto ko naman yung task na function ko or screen, meron siyang button na kapag i-click ko, I will be navigated to our settings page. So I already wrote the code for our home page. So for example, this is our home page. Okay. So this is our home page. Okay, so important thing to do in our screens for navigation. Do not forget to type this one. You have to call the use navigation na dependency so that you can go to a different screen once you click a button. So don't forget to type const navigation, use navigation, open close parentheses. And of course, make sure it is imported from your node modules. So once you type line 6, then you're good to go. Pwede ka nang gumawa ng button and you declare some codes para kapag i-click mo siya, okay, there should be an event that allows you to navigate a different screen. So here, we have a text, and then meron tayong button. Ayan. So, our parent component, we have the view component, and inside it, meron tayong makikitang welcome to your page or home page. And then, after the text, I have a button here, which inside the button, meron tayong on-press na event. So, it means on-press kapag i-click yung button, ano yung mangyayari. So, on-press, and then we have an arrow function in which we call the navigation. Itong dineclare natin sa line 6, navigation, and then dot, type mo yung navigate, and then the component name in which you want to navigate to. So for example, here in our homepage, we want to navigate to tasks na components. So that's why I type here the tasks component name. So unsa may basis ani ma'am? So let's go back to our navigator. So ang atoang isulat sa atoang button nga on press event, especially when we use arrow function to navigate to navigation that navigate na method, yung task na what do you call this argument here is actually based sa component of our stack screen. So, kanilang atong basihan guys. Tasks, as you can see, task po diri sa tuang on-press. Yun lang, as simple as that. Again, if task ang component diri, just copy this one, then mo na imong ibutang sa atong arrow function inside the on-press. On-press event. Ayan. And then after that, don't forget, maglalagay din tayo ng title. So, yung title is just the label of our button. And then, of course, ano yung gusto nating makikita na label sa button. So basically, this is the output. Okay, so we have the text, and then text na welcome to your homepage, and we have the button. And once we click the button, okay, ayan, we were navigated to the tasks page. And as you can see sa task natin, meron din tayong button. And same lang siya, same lang ng way of coding it. So, settings pa rin yung component na tinawag natin. Then once you click this one, of course, will be navigated to our settings page. And as you can see, meron tayong, what they call this, um, navigation sa taas and may arrow siya. So, kapag you set the navigation, okay, let me go back to our navigator. Kapag itong line 11, yung screen option is gagawin natin false, mawawala yung navigation. And kapag true, meron din siyang navigation sa taas. So yeah, that's just for the navigating between screens. Okay, so thank you so much for listening in this video lesson. So be updated lang, and I will be posting an activity or assignment for you to do. It will be a group activity. Okay, thank you so much. Enjoy your day, everyone.